guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. Today we are going to fuse the new champion, then we're going to take about an hour or two break for you guys, literally a second break. I'm going to come back at you guys after I've maxed her out, try her, and then give you my assessment of this champion. Is she worth fusing? One thing I will note to you guys right off the bat is, you know, if you've been watching this channel for any length of time, I'm a big fan of Basher the champion. I use him on one of my tag team arena teams. I think that he's best served in the arena, but he's a great and underrated champion for the arena, and I believe you can actually unlock Basher. Where is he in the news? Just something to note, you should save a copy of Basher, guys. He's worth getting two of. So Basher can get from the Summon Rush event July 17th to 19th, or fuse from these champions from the Divers, Dungeon Divers, Champion Training, Dungeon Diver, and Champion Chase Tournament, ranging from the 13th to the 26th of July. Basher definitely the best out of these four epic champions, so definitely take a note of that, right? So today, Kantra is the new champion. She is a barbarian force affinity. Kantra the Cyclone is her name. I like this champion. I'll give you again my full thoughts on her after we fuse and max and try her out. So I don't know if it's Kantra or Contra. It reminds me of the Konami code either way. Up, up, down, down, left, right, BA start. For those of you old school gamers out there. Anyway, Bone Hatchet attacks one enemy 2 times. This is a hard hitting ability. Her damage is based on defense. She has a very high base defense at around just shy of 1600, so very, very high on the base defense. Very difficult champion to kill and puts out a decent amount of damage. She's a great kind of support carry champion in the game. Attacks all enemies 3 times. Each one of those 3 waves of hits has a 50% chance of placing one of the following debuffs: block debuffs, decrease attack, decrease speed, weaken, decrease accuracy, and heal reduction, all on a 3-turn cooldown. Has a 75% chance of landing those buffs when booked out. Her those are only 2 active abilities, by the way, guys. So this, and then a 3-turn cooldown of attack all enemies 3 times. As we mentioned here, when we see attack all enemies 3 times, makes her a viable candidate for a stun set, especially because she has no 3rd active ability. Her passive is, when ascended, decreases each enemy's accuracy by 10 for each debuff they are under. This champion will receive 4% less damage for each debuff of the attacker, and heals this champion by 1250 HP each time a debuff expires on an enemy. That's insane heals there, potentially. And then has a 75% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn on enemies under 5 or more debuffs at the start of this champion's turn. That's very seldom, and this champion, by the way, can place debuffs on weak hits, which is great, okay? So this provoke, though, I mean, seldom do you get 5 or more debuffs on the start of an enemy, except for Clan Boss, which on Clan Boss, obviously immune to provoke. Same thing with Dragon as well, and all the other bosses in the game. So I don't know how I feel about the provoke chance. If this was, you know, 3 or 4 debuffs, it would be just insane. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll test her out and see how that goes. Aura, increase ally accuracy in all battles by 60. So not a bad aura as well. Let's go ahead and, let's go ahead and continue, get these champions in there. We'll let you guys watch the fusion. How exciting, right? And then we will go ahead and, like I said, take a break. And you can see this is my second Basher. If I had Basher, and I use Basher a lot, I would not fuse Basher. I would wait to try to get a dupe of it through the events. So that's what I would personally do. You guys, of course, are the best judge of your account and your own progression. So here we go. Oh my god, a legendary! Oh, it's Kantra the Cyclone. All right, so we have her, guys. Let's see what people say early on. Early on, very kind of mixed reviews here, but don't put any stock into those. All right, guys, this is where I go ahead and build her out, max her out, and come back to you in a couple seconds or hours. Alright guys, we have built her out here, and after trying her in some dungeons, 3 hours worth of dungeons in progression with her, I actually really like this champion. I think she is solid. Let's talk about the pros and the cons and kind of who is going to be using and benefiting from this champion before we go into the build. So first off, you can use her pretty much anywhere in the game. Very, very versatile in terms of dungeons and really anywhere. Even in Ice Golem, you can use her because of her passive, which allows her to place her debuffs on weak hits. She's not going to be critting and getting those strong nukes in Ice Golem 20, for example, but she still will be landing her debuffs. One thing that I want to say right out the gate here is I misread this. Attacks all enemies 3 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing one of the following debuffs. For some reason, I read it as has a 75% chance or 50% chance, depending on if you book this champion, at placing those debuffs. So you're placing, you know, potentially 3 debuffs per hit, and I must be honest, on the no escape her passive, she is actually placing a lot of provokes. We're getting a lot of champions with more enemies with 5 or more debuffs on them. So she has a lot of CC potential. I put her in a stun set. So between the stuns and the provoke, man, Kantra really gets the job done. Also puts out a decent amount of damage. So yeah, really happy with this champion. Also healing herself a ton. 1,250 each time a debuff expires. There's a lot of expired debuffs on this champion. Let's talk about the bad really quickly here. So the bad on this champion is, not gonna lie to you guys, another legendary champion who is free, kind of, if you fuse her, but she's expensive to book out. I mean, legendary books are still one of the most, if not the most scarce resources in the game next to sacred shards. So she does require books to get this, you know, down to a 3-turn cooldown to really make it viable as a debuffer and to add that stun capability if you do put her in stun gear. So she's not the most intensive books. She only has 2 abilities that you need to book down, 5 levels here and 7 levels here. But at the same time, again, you know, it takes a lot of resources to put into this champion. But I do believe she's great. If you pair her with a Scylla the Drakes, both in stun gear, they can act as your entire team's support, debuffers, and CC all in one tandem of 2 fairly accessible legendary champions. Again, I don't know how you know, she's kind of a whale fusion, to be honest with you guys, so I'm not going to call her accessible, but Scylla the Drake certainly is. So if you do go for this fusion, if you pair her with her, you're looking pretty good. Now, other champions that work really well with Kantra, right? Think about having one or both of the following on your team. If you want damage out of Kantra the Cyclone, pair her with a defense up champion, right? The strong version 60% increased defense is going to scale really well on her already high defense. I have her built out. I don't have my god tier, my best gear on my account. I specifically avoided epic and legendary artifacts on this champion to make it a little bit more realistic. However, I'm at the point right now in my gear that I only have 6-star artifacts just in my progression. So I do have 1 legendary piece. I apologize for that, but I wanted the stun set on her. Everything else is, as you can see, rare here. So I went stun and speed on her. Again, overall stats here are going to be 195 on the speed. I like my champions fast. I like them hitting, you know, she can put out, again, some decent damage, especially if you build that defense high, which is easy to do off a 1542 base defense. So I have a 92 crit rate, 137 crit damage. Didn't pay a lot of attention to the crit damage. However, I do have a crit damage amulet on her. 182 accuracy is actually enough to get it done. I had a decision to make here. Given the gear that I, you know, made available for this champion, I decided to go with a defense banner on her. You guys can try to do the same thing yourselves. If you can get your accuracy from the Great Hall, if you can get the accuracy from your artifacts, go ahead and try to get away with a defense banner on her. If not, then go ahead and use an accuracy banner on her, okay? I went crit damage, again, on the amulet. If you don't want her to do any nuking on your team, you don't care about that, you just want her maybe in stun gear and there for the debuffs, go ahead and put a defense amulet on her. However, she does hit pretty hard, so I would advise you guys go crit damage there. Defense ring with defense substats preferred. Speed boots is what I would recommend for you guys. I would recommend, obviously, a defense chest is pretty much going to be a must on her because she does scale off defense. And then go crit rate or crit damage if you're lucky enough to get crit rate elsewhere in your gear. Other than that, I'm looking for accuracy from my gear pieces. I am looking for crit rate, crit damage, obviously, speed, and defense. So those are the gear that I have on her here, guys. Masteries, I went with War Master. I think War Master is a pretty safe bet for Kantra. And I went defense tree too. Again, I could have gone support tree, but I didn't need the lower steel because, again, I do have all of the stun gear on her. So I'm not gonna go low. I'm not gonna go support just for a little bit of accuracy and the lower steel. I'd rather have retribution and have a cycle of vengeance on this champion, make her a little bit more hardy, I guess, with the extra defense as well and the tough skin. And again, I do think that War Master is your best bet on offense, especially in the mid game. If you want to get really niche and try to build her as like a main nuker, I think you could do that and go with not Giant Slayer, go with either Flawless Execution or go with probably Helm Smasher in Savage Gear. However, I don't think that's, just my personal opinion, I don't think that's her best use in the game. I think you want to build her as a support CC kind of carry champion, and she's going to be great for you in that regard. So in terms of reviews, in my early testing on her, I actually am a big fan. I don't think she's a clan boss champion, so I'll rank her as a good 3. Campaign locations depend on what you need. If you're looking for nightmare progression, she's a 5, easy. If you're looking for speed farming, she's a 2. Arena offense, again, I think she's good, or yeah, good probably, right? I don't think she's OP in arena. All the keeps, I'm going to say she's pretty much a 5, guys. I think she's really, really solid. Going down here, Dragon's Lair, I think she's a 5. I think that people are being a little bit harsh, honestly, on these ratings early on. Ice Golem's Peak will give her a, I don't know, a 3 or a 4. Again, she can land all those debuffs. However, it's really, she's not going to be critting hard. On the Fire Knight 5, I think she's great for Fire Knights. I think she's great for Miniatures Labyrinth. I think she's great for Spider's Den as well. 3.9, I would give her a 5. So let's go ahead and talk about why here, guys. Let's show you her in action. So let's start off in Fire Knights. Then we'll go to Spider's Den after that. Then we'll end, excuse me, on Dragon's Lair. So, okay. I talked about defense. One good champion to have her with is a defense up. I have no defense up on this team, so just take that into consideration. She's not hitting as hard as she could in this comp. However, another great champion to put her with is any other strong debuffers, right? Because the more debuffs you can get, the more chance you can have 5 debuffs, and she just does really well. You're going to see here, if you take keep her eye on her health meter here, she's going to be basically healing herself non-stop as these debuffs expire. Wait till you see her in Spider's Den, right? So here we go in the second wave. Just keep an eye on Kantra here. This is her A1. Hit pretty weak there, 5,000. Her A1 does have pretty good multipliers on it, but again, keep in mind, we don't have like a high crit rate here. 11,000, 11,000. Did get a War Master proc on that one as well, so it does help with her damage off of her A1. Now here comes her, there it is, right? Is it, so 3 hits, what did it do? Like anywhere from 21 to 30k or so total on the 3-hitter. But look at all these debuffs, and again, you can already see her landing her provokes because of all these debuffs on these enemies. Provoke there, provoke there. I mean, check it out. I was, again, the beginning of this video, I thought it was going to be rare to get this many debuffs, but again, I failed to consider that she's hitting 3 times, 75% chance each one of those hits is landing one of those various debuffs, right? Some of those debuffs are crap, some of them are very good, just depends. It's luck of the draw. You can't rely on her to be your main defense down or your main decrease attack champion. However, she does have like that plethora of just solid debuff support, decreased speed, decreased accuracy, heal reduction. They all have some value. And here against Fire Knight, it's going to be extremely valuable. This is going to be about a 2-minute and 20-second run, I think. Let's go ahead and see how we do there. But there's no way the shield is going to get up again on this Fire Knight. So this one is just a matter of how fast these Cold Hearts can go ahead and nuke him down. And again, what, 714, about 24,000 damage or so. And, 15 seconds to go. Let's see if we can get it done at 220. But you can see that this run was never in jeopardy. And that's I think, what she's going to be lending to a lot of your teams. If you're struggling getting through, maybe you don't have a 100% success rate in Spiders and Fire Knight and Dragon, consider building her if you are able to fuse her, because she's going to help keep your team alive. She is very difficult to kill. She has very high defense. She's healing herself throughout the entire match. I'm going to keep this one. Usually I don't keep 5 stars, but check it out. Defense with crit rate, speed, and HP, and a shield set. I will take it. Let's go on to the next. She did 719,000 damage. Out damage one of our Cold Heart. I think this Cold Heart might not have full gear on her, actually. Does not seem right there. But she out damaged pretty much. She was solid in damage. All right, let's move into Spider's Den. I want to show you in Spiders because it's interesting, right? Oops. So this team is pretty solid here. Let me just check. This Cold Heart, is she? I think she's fully geared. This one is good. So you're going to see her in Spiders again, right? It's good. She's going to be landing provokes on all of these Spiders and being the tank for your team, because there's going to be so many debuffs on these. And I have her in stun gear. Look at all these. Look at her health. Look at her health, guys. Oh, well, we killed a lot of Spiders there. But she's going to be everything that expires. I mean, she's never going to go down. She's a great tank for Spiders. because she's so difficult to kill, right? She's going to be healing herself galore, and she's going to be landing a lot of provokes against these spiders, especially after these first 2 rounds where we're able to use our main abilities and kind of nuke down the spiders. But watch this, guys. It's going to be like, I think that, oh, she's asleep right now. That's not helpful, right? That's not helpful. I think her A2 is up next, though, so let's see what we can do here. She's going to be landing some stuns as well, so check it out. Right about. Okay, so she's already tanking, so that's good. And there it goes. We're just nuking everybody down here. This is great, man. This is great. And she's just eating all those poisons. Look at all those heals. The poisons don't even matter, excuse me, on this champion. She's killing them on the A2 anyway. But what I did on testing here, what happened a few times, she just landed provokes on all the spiders. She's already tanking anyway, so again, that's totally cool. She has the negative affinity matchup. That's what you want in a spider, right? She can still land her debuffs. But on Spider 20, he's Spirit Affinity, where's Force Affinity? That's a negative affinity matchup. That's why she has a 3.9 on the ratings. That's actually good. She's going to be tanking for the team, and she's never going to die. So if you have problems dying in Spiders 20, can't beat Spiders 20, she's going to help you out a ton, okay? She still put out almost 1 million damage despite her having that negative affinity. Let's go ahead and show you on the Dragon's Lair here. Again, despite the fact that she's not free to play. She's a whale fusion, but if you can get your hands on her and you're in the mid game, I think she'll help you out a lot, guys. And there we go again. She already casted her A2 here, and you can see there's decreased speed, decreased attack, decreased defense, block buffs there. Just a plethora of good debuffs on all these opponents. And again, keeping herself alive throughout as well. This team, I should have run her next to Syl of the Drakes, but I have Jarl in this team because I wanted the defense up. He's going to be using the defense up on all of my champions, and then you'll see her do more damage. There, though, landing, only 1 stun, but not too bad, right? She's hitting 3 times. So on a 3-hitter, we have an 18% chance of landing the stun every time. You could also go with Fearsome Presence on her, which is a end tier mastery on the defense tree instead of War Master. To be totally honest with you guys, now that I say that out loud, I think that would probably be better as opposed to War Master for this dungeons the way I'm using her. So I'm going to go ahead and revisit that right after this run real quick because I hope you guys watch till the end because you know how it is. We're theory crafting here and we're doing this all in real time. So sometimes I wait a couple days to share these champions when they're fusions, but today I happen to have all the fusion champions anyway ready to go, so I figured I would just put it out the day of. I think I have a pretty firm grasp on this champion, but that would be one thing that I would say, it's not like I'm using her on Clan Boss or anything like that, so I think rather than War Master, I do think I'd actually rather have the 5% chance of landing the stuns if you do decide to put her in the stun set. Look at all these debuffs on the dragon, man. You get the 10 debuffs up there really, really quickly on the dragon and making quick work of him. We have Kayle in here to help with poison, and again, she's healing herself up the entire time. She's never gonna die, man. She's not going anywhere. Think of how high her defense is, and think of the fact that she's also healing herself and all that other stuff. So here we go. About a 2-minute run, not too bad, and again, a fairly accessible team. I couldn't call it free to play, but we have War Maiden as our debuffer, Grizzled Jarl there as our increased defense. She put out just shy of 1 million damage. Kayle put out 694. Royal Guard was the damage leader with 1.2 mil, and yeah, not too bad. Can sell this. And yeah, like I was saying, guys, before we conclude this video really quickly, let me know what you think of Kantra, guys, in the comments below. I don't know if it's Kantra or Contra, but I'm going to pronounce it Kantra because, fan of the game. All right, so let's go to, where am I going? Let's take one last look at her here, guys. All right, so Masteries. Yeah, I think going Fearsome Presence to get the 5% stun would actually be better than the extra damage from War Master. So I would go ahead and make that change. If you decide to put her in stun gear, of course, the choice is yours. You could also go support tree. You could also go support and defense tree. So there's a lot of flexibility on your masteries on this champion. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think of this champion. Let me know if you fuse her, if you plan to, in the comments below. Thanks, and as always, take care, guys.